I've been cooking since I was about 15 years old. I started in Connecticut, did a little couple mom and pop's places, and then I actually went up to Boston, and that's kind of where I got my fine dining experience and everything, and moved on a little bit, went to California, and I kind of stuck with Italian quite a bit. I did a little Southwestern flair as well, a little classical American, but my roots were pretty much Italian. So that was the basis in when I went to Boston. I think that's where it brought me home, because I was always around my mom and my grandmother was from Italy, and my mom was born here, but everything with my roots were just Italian. So I think I kind of embraced that culture and just lived with the food from Italy, and I just kind of went with it. And that was a lot of the restaurants that I used to work in, so that was my favorite cuisine. When I was younger, I used to work on Cape Cod with my uncle's restaurant, washing dishes, and I saw the atmosphere. It was so driven, everybody was so busy, everything was so fast-paced. It was just something I always wanted to be in. It felt like they were on stage. Everybody was just running around behind each other, creating these dishes and just forming this food that everybody was longing to come to the restaurant for. There was lines around the corner, there was people always talking about the restaurant, and the cooks were almost like superheroes. So it's just something I wanted to be involved in, and I just always saw my mom cook. And from my mom, my grandmother would just put out food for, it seemed like an army. So it was the best experience to see all those smiling faces when everybody got to eat my grandmother's food, or the people that would leave the restaurant. They were just so thrilled to be there and just taste the food, and they were like my heroes. I think all the ingredients they have to accent each other. They have to play off each other, just whether it's be the most simplest dish to the most complex dish. I think it's you orchestrate everything together and everything accents each other, just from one step of the dish, from one taste of the front of the palate to the back of the palate. It's just everything explodes together. I like to be the manager, I like to be the friend, I like to get everybody together, make sure everybody's working as a team, creating a harmonious environment. But I also like to create, we have a lot of regulars that come in here, and I like to just do a little special twist here and every once in a while and just try and put my little accent on a little dish here and there. But I like to try and balance it on both ends. My most memorable moment in my cooking career. I was sent away for a wedding from one of my old restaurants, and one of the people who used to come in there all the time loved the food, wanted me to do a tasting for him, so I did a 6-course tasting meal for him. He loved it, so he actually flew me out to his house, big mansion, and had me cook there for his wedding. He had the wedding inside the house, and it was probably about 65 people, and I stayed there for 3-4 days and just prepped everything and cooked everything, and I felt like a celebrity chef when I went out there. It was phenomenal. I don't think I've ever had any disaster stories. I think it was when I was a little bit younger. I took my shot at a cruise ship, and when I went on a cruise ship, they sold it as it was the best experience of your life. You're gonna travel all over the world, and you're gonna do all these great things, and then all of a sudden, you're in a little kitchen, you can't move, you're elbow to elbow with everybody else, and you're just in the kitchen for 18 hours a day. And I think that was probably my most fun culinary experience. I do have time to cook at home, and my wife and I like to cook together here and there. And we have 2 little kids, so we just try and get them a little bit more cultured once in a while instead of just eating grilled cheese or just plain spaghetti. But I think my favorite is just Italian. My mom had a lot of dishes. She makes this unbelievable macaroni pie, which is like a thin spaghetti. She does the pepperoni, a little bit of cream cheese in it, and some egg, and you whisk it, and you almost make it into a pie in a skillet, and then you flip it over, and then it's almost like a baked macaroni pie. It's phenomenal. But pretty much Italian food. That's what I've stuck with my whole life. If I weren't a chef, what would I be? I'd love to be a pro golfer, but I'm not that good. I think I would like to be a mate on a boat and work as a mate on a boat. I always love the ocean, I love boats, I love to fish. I think that would be my passion. I think my piece of advice for someone who wants to become a chef is make sure this is what you want to do. Make sure this is your passion and your dream. And if it is, give it 110%. Be the best you can be. Don't go into it and just think you can do it. Go in and know that you're going to do it. Make sure that every dish that you create is the best, because people are going to remember the last dish you've ever created, or the best shift you're ever going to have is the last shift you've ever had. I think if your passion is there, I think I would 100% go for it. But make sure your heart's into it. The guests should expect a extraordinarily distinct guest experience. We have 18 to 24 day dry aged steaks. We have an in-house butcher who sculpts the steaks every day. We have a pastry chef that comes in the morning at sunrise and cooks all the fresh pastries. We have a very extensive wine list. We have over 350 bottles of wine, starting from $30 to up to $1,000. When you walk in this door, you feel like you're royalty. The servers take great care of you. They pamper you from the start to the finish. It's an unbelievable experience. My favorite dish here has to be the lobster macaroni and cheese. I used to cook it when I was the line cook here, and it's just my favorite dish. For that lob mac is so creamy, the lobster is just so tender, the baked breadcrumbs on top. It's a meal in itself.